Hey, we're back. It's time to interview Nick. Late, a little past your bedtime. We were having a lot of fun with Metal Gear, and I'm very slow.
Unless you're watching this on YouTube, it could be whatever time you want.
Exactly.
I have questions for you.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see how long we can go on this. Don't worry. I think that we can be. I think this will be a good. I made way more questions than we have time for, and that's what Dom and I are trying to figure out. Because you're an interesting person, and I live with you, and I know a lot about you, so we just have a lot of fun questions for you.
Can I do the honors this week?
Yes, I was gonna say, Dom, are you ready to do the honors before we ask the first question?
Yeah, I will. This week we had some scheduling things that came up last minute, so literally this is the only time it was just me and Daisy doing the interview questions, no sleuths. That felt weird.
Yeah, a little strange. But
thank you, Nick, aka Block Sprites, aka folk artist, Daisy's roommate, coming on the show.
Yes.
That is an incredibly positive spin on.
I think you're a folk
we didn't
artist.
have anybody else.
No! That's not what it was. No, it was just like Dom said earlier, it's a thing that was going to happen eventually. It just happened that this was a moment for it to become real. And as you'll see, we obviously, we have matching hats. We have adjacent desks. I don't know. There's a lot of silly stuff to work with here.
Take my hand.
Yeah, they're in the room together. Hi, Nick.
All right.
Hi, Tom.
Nick.
Baldur's Gate.
Oh.
See that behind you.
Oh, you look at my 90s video game collection.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nick, you're a very interesting person because I guess maybe one of the things that I like about you that I've experienced about you is that, and it's weird because Nick is over there, but we're opposite sides.
Hi.
Anyway, is that you get a creative idea and you just kind of learn how to do it. You just go in and you do it, and you start off and you practice over time and you learn and you get better and you bring it to the world and you teach other people how to do it. That being said, we want to know what the weirdest or most obscure thing you've ever 3D printed was.
Oh. Wow. The thing that comes to mind, I don't think this is the weirdest or most obscure thing necessarily, but I made the house from Bob's Burgers.
I didn't know that you 3D printed. I didn't know you printed that.
That was one of the first things where I totally from scratch, just from visual references, went and looked at screenshots and different angles from the show and figured out okay, how would this exist in 3 dimensions, and figured it out and designed that and printed it. That's what comes to mind.
It's a good one.
There's probably weirder stuff. I don't know.
Definitely thought you were going to say Caucasaurus Rex.
Caucasaurus. That actually was my friend who printed Caucasaurus Rex.
Okay.
But behind you, what you're
I was gonna say
right now, those are some of your 3D printed art.
I have
right?
a bunch of 3D prints back here. One that again comes to mind as an oddball is you can.
This is cool.
Sort of see it. It's the.
It's 2D.
Topographical. It's the world map from Final Fantasy VII.
Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Ooh. That's
really cool. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, show off some of those other guys back there, because some of that stuff, it's basically you've been able to take it at one
it's Metal Gear. Ah! Do you know which character this is?
That is Snake 2.
That's not wrong. That's not wrong.
Wrong. Yeah.
That's not super wrong.
Right? I know he's not Snake.
There were more wrong answers. There were wronger answers to that question.
So would you say your main medium is 3D prints?
That is the main medium that I am able to turn into any sort of revenue.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a valid way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the majority of what I do with the 3D printers. That was something I just stumbled into. I thought, oh, this is cool. The thing that got me into it, speaking of Final Fantasy VII, way back in the day, 1997, when that game came out, they released action figures, and I always liked action figures. I love I collect Transform. I think there's some behind me here.
Yeah.
Some Transformers. Like I love action figures. I like collecting action figures, whatever. And
Gundam right here on my.
Gundam, exactly. So I love my little guys. I
love my little guys.
This is a pro little guy stream. Very pro little guy stream.
Right. So I love little guys, and without getting way too deep into the weeds, back then in the late 90s, video game toys just weren't really a thing.
That's right.
You could, every now and then you could find a Mario toy, and it was like, wow, like a Mario, like the most well-known gaming property out there. Even that was a little like odd to come across.
I had a Link toy with zero articulation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so video games weren't properties that got turned into toys back then, and so I was really shocked. Call it like 1998. Going into a comic book store when I saw a couple of I don't know if you've ever seen these, but there were some Final Fantasy VII action figures.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy wasn't really that popular back then. It was, it was popular as far as JRPGs go, but that was a low bar, and it just like blew my mind. But if you've ever seen these action figures, they were awful. They
barely
had
comprehensible,
articulation, but they suck.
Yeah.
And what I kept thinking at the time was like, well, why don't they just take the little guys from the game? Like they're these chunky little guys. Why don't they just take them and make them into toys?
Yeah.
And I had that thought. Like I was like 12, 13 years old. I was like, why don't you just do that? And then like 20 years later, technology finally caught up. And I kept, like, all through that, I kept, and obviously video games and video game toy licenses, all that kind of stuff became wildly popular during all of that, during that time span. But what I always kept thinking about during that was how well 3D printing, especially when that came into being a thing that was potentially accessible to the average person, was like, why don't you just take the little guys from the game, and they're 3D, and you could just make them in, like, real life.
Do you have a little guy? To show me?
I have a little guy.
That's a good guy.
It's the blocky little guy from Final Fantasy VII. So this was like one of the first models that I figured out and was able to piece together and do and turn into a thing. And yeah, it's just like this to me is video games used to be a lot more representational or maybe not representational, I guess. Like it was just sort of
impressionistic. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
You had to imagine that this guy looked like a cool, badass guy with a sword.
Yeah.
He's got sex appeal. This little guy.
That's hair blowing in the wind.
Look at that. So. You had to do that with sprites, Mega Man, like this goofy little 16 by 16 little blue guy poking around.
Like that original box art of Mega Man, he's like a grown man.
Yeah,
like, that's not how I pictured it.
That is not it. What resonates with you are these actual in-game avatars, these sprites, and these little 3D figures, and that to me was the connection that I made to characters in games and. Ultimately, what I got excited about seeing in reality. So that was the impetus for doing what I do with Block Sprites, which is, generally speaking, trying to bring in-game assets or things that look very close to in-game assets to life.
Well, the other cool.
Are you able to put real quick? Are you able to put my face on camera or on screen or not?
I can if you want me to.
Hey!
There it is.
Yep. Metal slime.
So.
Yeah.
With 4 times the XP.
4 times.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. At certain things like Dragon Warrior, there's more out there. I don't do a lot of Mario, stuff that now you can get a lot of stuff from. And even Final Fantasy VII, there's more merchandise out there than there used to be. But I try to specifically find, video games that don't have a big toy licensing, force, and find stuff in that to bring out.
Something I think is so cool about your art and the community that you're already tapped into is, one, you're so deeply in part of the community, the fandom around these different video games, etc. But also you identified a need and filled the need, and the community wants you around, and you're like, you're selling consistently at huge cons, right? Like MagFest. I mean, you were doing...
MagFest is a big one.
Yeah, so for Block Sprites is around, like, at lots of different cons in the, I guess, more northeastern United States. But,
yeah, mostly. I mean, that really has to do with just where I lived at the time.
Yeah.
Certain things, COVID, slowed things down a bit. Sure. Used to do a lot more events, and that kind of slowed us down a little bit. But and then full-time job and life and all of that.
Yeah.
MagFest
cool.
is a big one. Too Many Games is a big one in Philadelphia. This year doing Torg in Ohio, which is exciting because it's local.
True. Yeah.
Excited about that one. But yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Do you want to go right to this one, Daisy?
Yes.
Since it came up?
Mm-hmm. Since this came up, what's your favorite MagFest memory?
Oh.
It could be. Now you could. I'm sure there's a lot. You could narrow it to last.
Memory is how little I remember.
I mean, it could also be.
As a festival scholar, I can appreciate that your favorite part of the festival is the bacchanalia. Okay.
Yes. The strange things that happen.
I mean, it's an important social function of a large gathering of people. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
To take a very functionalist approach to your answer.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great question. MagFest. Well, for anyone who, I assume a lot of your stream viewership is probably familiar with MagFest, but it's a very, very large. MagFest stands for MAG stands for Music and Gaming Festival. It's a very large event that's grown quite a bit over the last 10 years or so that I've been going to it. I would liken it to Otakon or DragonCon, but more specifically in the gaming realm, as opposed to comics and sci-fi and fantasy and all that. There's a lot of good MagFest memories. This past MagFest,
we did some silly stuff.
Daisy and I hung out at the booth selling things, and we got silly.
Yes, that's true. I don't think we've ever packed so many things so inebriated for just like strangers.
There were substances involved.
You could be a roadie. You could be a roadie.
Yeah, it was yeah, basically, yeah.
It's definitely just,
packed a lot of items for people.
People came to the table and it was just, how you how's it going? You want to buy some stuff? All right.
It's a festival.
And they did.
At a festival.
Yeah. And they did want to buy stuff.
But the really cool, it's 24 hours as opposed to a lot of cons where the programming kind of stops at a certain point and the public space is sort of shut down.
That arcade stays open.
Yeah, the arcade's open. You can find shenanigans, you can find something to do at MagFest 24 hours, which is really cool. For one of the things that happens when you're a vendor at a con or you're participating in the programming at a convention is that you can find yourself sort of excluded from the convention itself because you're so busy working. And so one of the cool things that happens at MagFest is you can choose, all right, I'm done for the night. It's 11 p.m. or whatever time it is, and there's still stuff going on, and I can go off and do that until I pass out. So I'll think about that question and see if I can come up with like a really great weird story. Okay. But the great thing about that particular event is just the environment itself and the fact that it never ends. It's just like one long fever dream. I think you were saying earlier, Dom, the bender that is DragonCon.
Yeah, it's like
you're
the
just
bender
in one chaotic time stream. There's no breaks. That natural day-night cycle is gone.
You can spend 18 hours on your feet and sleep for 6 hours a night, but only at DragonCon do you do them both back to back for 5 days in a row.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Dang. All right, order of operations here.
Right up here.
This one? That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna give a little precursor to this. So you've been hearing me teach Intro to Folklore on the computer for a while. I teach it hybrid, I teach it in person, and I teach it on the computer. And sometimes when I teach it on the computer, Nick and Raven and my other roommates are just around, or people are around, whatever, the background, while I'm just like yelling at a screen and getting no response from my students. Although I'm sure they're thinking things, and they're certainly chatting in the chat. But since you've been listening to that, and you and I have had a bunch of conversations about folklore. What do you think folklore is?
Oh, God in heaven.
You know, now, the caveat to this is that we all know that there's so many definitions of folklore, but I think that, I don't know, you have a relationship with it now that is new, and so I'm just curious if you could elaborate on that.
Indiana Jones, right?
Oh my god!
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah! Hell yeah!
That's folklore.
Oh my god! So good, so good. Yeah, my Indiana Jones student who incessantly was like, "This is what folklore is."
You know, I thought was gonna ask me what folklore is, and I'm not gonna have an answer. And it's gonna be really embarrassing.
I have a more specific follow-up question for that too, because I know that's so big.
Informal communication that is passed down within a community or a group or whatever. Happy birthday!
Yes,
singing "Happy Birthday."
Yeah,
is folklore.
Yeah. Nick, you totally know what folklore is.
That's it.
I want Nick
there, right?
Yeah, I want Nick. You should come sub for me. We'll wear the same hat. Like one day I'll wear this hat, and then you show up the next time. They won't know. They'll have no idea.
I'll just come in and be bad at Metal Gear, and they won't know.
Either Nick shave or Daisy start doing a little stubble right now. So when Nick stubs, they're like, "Wow, your beard's coming in nice."
We'll equal out. Yeah, that would probably be good. A sort of like follow up to that is because you and I have had a lot of talks about like folklore and fandom.
Sure.
And I was kind of curious how folklore has impacted your relationship with fandom, if it has at all. Maybe it hasn't.
Oh my gosh.
But,
I don't know. I'll start babbling, and you can tell me if this is answering even really.
This is my favorite. When Nick comes to me, Nick and I have a lot of very good babbling conversations, and I love it. It's really good.
That's something Tommy Pickles says to Chucky. We have a lot of good babbling conversations.
Yes.
The adults think it's babbling.
The dynamic between Daisy and I is basically that of Tommy Pickles
basically Tommy and Chucky.
Yeah.
Basically.
No, hearing you talk about folklore has certainly impacted how I think about things and think about people's relationship to things and media and stuff that they're consuming. Again, I don't know if I have anything terribly interesting to say about this, but I think more often than I used to, I think about how each person's individual experiences and perspectives shape how they are interacting with the media or the content or whatever that they are consuming, and how something can mean something very, very different to someone who has one particular set of experiences versus someone who has a different set of experiences.
Yeah. No, I think that's true.
And I think about that more often than I ever did before.
Yeah.
Now having spent more time, getting your
Can I kind of spitball off that, Nick? Because I think you phrased that in a very interesting way.
I think you did.
So I think that what am I thinking? Mass media, popular culture is like it's like mass culture made for an individual experience, and I think folklore and fandom being like the kind of folklore of popular culture or whatever kind of flips that, where it's like it's like an individual art made for mass experience,
Yeah, I mean
that makes sense. Yeah,
I even just thinking about like Metal Gear and how I looked at Metal Gear through a certain lens, as a white teenage boy from a relatively
American,
a perspective, and I think that's largely who the audience is for. A big part of Metal Gear is sort of looking at American, imperialism and colonialism and stuff, and saying, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Which is a perspective that certainly when Metal Gear got its legs back in the late '90s and early 2000s was not something that a lot of Americans really thought about. And it predates widespread internet access and all that sort of. So yeah, I just thinking about that, and I wonder a lot more maybe than I ever used to about, well, how does someone else who doesn't have my background, doesn't have my experiences, how are they relating to this content and this media? And it could be very, very different. And one of the things that contextualizes that and helps explain that to me is
folklore.
The folklore, It's the noise that comes from over there.
Yeah.
From Daisy's direction.
Yeah.
Like, oh. Wow.
Yeah.
I think I can tell you live with a folklorist because you're situating individual agency in this thing that 300 people created. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
So.
I have another question for you.
Please.
This is something that you taught me about folklore that
it's
it's not impossible, Nick. Something you taught me about a community that I really was maybe overlooking or didn't understand as deeply as I should. But that's the Lego community. Oh, the gays? Oh, well, I mean, that's when we talk about New York. But the Lego community. I didn't know that there were rare Legos.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that there were rare Legos. I didn't know the things that you had to look for to determine specialty or non-specialty Legos. I didn't know how to look for fakes on the internet. I mean, I still don't really know how to do that. I didn't know that. I didn't understand that this is
boot Legos.
Boot Legos. I didn't understand that these were things that mattered to that community. So my question for you is, would you be interested in showing us some of your rare Legos? But also talking a little bit more about your this other medium of video game or content art creation that you make, which is through Legos.
Yeah, so it's sort of so Lego culture is totally a thing. There's this whole thing that I don't know. I'm relatively orphaned from. I wouldn't say that I've drank a whole lot of that Kool-Aid or dived super deeply into that community, but I'm on my own little weird Lego island. One of the things that is generally considered very, very taboo, very, very this is folklore. This is an example of folklore.
Here we go.
One of the things that is generally considered very taboo among the Lego people, there's a whole bit about this in, it's one of the major themes in the Lego movie.
Oh my god.
Is Craggle.
What?
Yeah.
Craggle.
Craggle
is the phenomenon where you
this.
glue Legos.
Oh.
The whole idea behind Legos is that
Is
they're
that you,
infinitely,
rebuildable,
you take them apart,
rebuild,
you don't glue things, you don't put stuff together.
Yeah.
And so the idea of gluing Legos together is generally seen as very taboo, very, you don't do that. Well, I do that because I'm,
I love it. This is like
I spurn social convention and all the rules.
This is like when, I don't know, Smash players said "fuck you" to Nintendo, and
exactly.
I'm gonna figure out these new moves anyway.
No, it's perfect. Great. So
proud of that one, Daisy.
So okay, I was talking about the little guys.
You got guys you made. Look at that guy.
From the game. And again, one of the things you connect to when you played video games back then were these little sprites that represented bigger things. It required you to use your imagination and pretend that this little collection of pixels somehow was a super cool, threatening, awe-inspiring alien spaceship that was coming to get you. And all this. So this is when I first started going to conventions. I've always seen there's perler beads. It's a kind of pixel art. Yep. People make pixel art out of those, and it's like, oh, that's cool. But I don't know, they're flimsy, they're small. It's like, it's kind of
they're hard to mount or
and I was like, well, couldn't you just do that with Legos? Why hasn't anybody done that? And
then you
so
learned
before I was doing these guys, before I learned how to 3D print, I was doing Lego sculptures. And this is a ship from the 1991 action space simulation game called Star Control. And this is another not obscure at all reference to the 1988 Advanced Dungeons and Dragons dungeon builder game, Unlimited Adventures. This is the Dark Overlord. Anyway, these are the ones that are on my shelf because they're the ones that matter to me. But so I make a whole lot of these guys, and they're all Legos. They're all glued. And Dizzy, you were asking about rare and unusual Legos. It is really interesting. So to get Legos, you have to. There are a couple of different resources that exist out there to go buy Legos in bulk. One of the big, sort of just idle pieces of feedback that you get when you sell these guys at an event, people will walk by and be like, I could just make that. And totally cool. I totally advocate, people should be creative and do this kind of stuff on their own. But one of the things that I discovered when I first started doing this, because I was seeing perler beads and thinking, I could make that out of Legos. And I went home to my vast collection of Legos, and I was like, oh my god, I've been collecting Legos for 30 years, and I can make, a single half of a Mario.
You're like, I have 4 colors.
Wow, there's really, this is actually really, really difficult. And so you have to, there's this whole process which I hunt down Legos in specific quantities and shapes and sizes and all these things to make it economical enough that I can make these things and, potentially sell them. And it's a whole fascinating world, and there are people who buy sets and piece them out and sell all the individual pieces to people doing this or people doing other things. Obviously, there's massive Lego communities out there, people who build all sorts of things. But one of the things there's this whole economy around it. Yeah. And certain colors and certain bricks are rare. And so I pulled a couple of my rarer bricks, which I use, I'm looking for true square bricks to use as pixels, right, for what I do. But there are bricks. This little guy, it's a blue-violet. You cannot get this anymore. There are no Lego sets that contain this brick. Whoa. And so there's
so states that's a felony in Nick.
Yeah, right. Oh, eat it. These still exist out there. People still sell them, but just like a magic card that's out of print or anything else, they are going up steadily in price to the point where this little guy, finding one of these guys, in the U.S. anyway, you can find them overseas occasionally, but in very small quantities, and to find it domestically, you're talking $3 for this. it's outrageous, and you can't find more than a few of them. But my rarest brick, my single rarest brick, is
tiny.
It's called Sand Red. You can't really see it in this lighting. It's like a pale red. And this, when I got it, it was probably $2 for this. But you can't get these anymore because there are no sets that have them, and they've all been pieced out and parted and put into people's collections. And in my case, glued into objects permanently where no one can get them ever again. So, the Craggle! The Craggle. So yeah, that's
cool.
About Legos. It's a fascinating world.
I mean, Legos are really interesting because it's something that so many children are introduced to that many people cherish as part of their childhood, like dinosaurs or trucks or whatever. And I think it's interesting when those communities continue on and become the adult version of that, which is a highly skilled craft. Right. you have such specific community knowledge to know some of that you've cultivated over years, and that's why you're a folk artist, and folk art is cool because you can't just. Everybody says I could just make that.
Yeah,
it's
really
like
interesting.
yes, but
you could make a Mario mushroom, white and red.
Yeah, you can make a Mario mushroom.
And
I
you get that sort of incredulity from people who are like, I can make that, but and I meet that with positivity and encouragement. Like, yeah, you should make it. You should try it. Kind of knowing in the back of my head, like, you're gonna head for a
right.
But it is fun. It is very it's cool and yeah, like you said with the folk art thing, you don't immediately think of it as something that requires a whole lot of skill
yet.
But there is a lot of sort of unique knowledge and such that you have to be able to do it, at least on any sort of scale, or with any sort of consistency or success. Yeah,
these are not trivial pieces,
Oh, we've gone beyond the triviality barrier.
Yeah, we are beyond the triviality barrier right now. It's important. You can't get that little fucking brick, okay?
I had to get imported from Connecticut. This is the real Lego from Amsterdam.
Hell yeah.
Where are they from? Rotterdam? Where?
But it goes Denmark, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Denmark.
Yeah, I think Denmark.
Yeah.
I had a ship flown in from Copenhagen.
It's interesting because it goes the other direction too, because this it's called neon yellow. It's like a regular yellow brick, but it's actually neon yellow. Used to be crazy. You couldn't find them anywhere, and then suddenly somewhere along the line they released a set. Lego released a set that had a bunch of them, and suddenly the market was flooded with them.
Crashed.
And now you can get them anywhere, and they're
No.
and so it's good though. There's an ebb and a flow because certain things come into vogue, and they're suddenly really easy to get. They're really cheap, and then maybe that changes, and so it's very very interesting.
Be Blue Violet in a couple of years.
It could be the next Blue Violet.
True. I think that stuff is fascinating.
It's very,
because I don't think anyone at the Lego Corporation anticipated the secondary market.
Right.
Yeah.
Certainly not way back when.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they were
now
thinking about
there's an awareness of it, which
now there's an awareness
is
of it,
also interesting because you in Lego stores they have pick a brick wall, right? You've probably seen this where you go up and you get a container and you can fill it with bricks off of this wall. When I first started doing this in 2009, 2010, you could go into a Lego store. I did this all the time, and you could talk to the manager or whoever and say, "Hey, I noticed you don't have this in your pick-a-brick wall, or you do have it in your pick-a-brick wall. I don't want to buy it in the little cups. Can you sell me the case that it comes in from, your distributor?
Right,
Can you just sell me that case?" And they'd sell it to you for like, $75 or something.
Yeah.
This
You just get like a
big single, case with just one brick.
Mm-hmm.
They would do that for you, and over time that price went up and up and up to the point where they're just like, we don't do it anymore. And I'm like,
wow.
And it's fascinating, because
so now
again, in part because of these secondary markets that turned it into this whole thing. So.
And now they've sort of handed off that work to the secondary market in some way because you can still do that. It's just you're buying it from some Joe on eBay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. I don't know, Dom, where should we go to next? What do you think?
Oh, I want to ask a question.
Oh, Dom's got another question. Okay, Dom.
Nick, what's something that Daisy does that you know about because you're roommates, but the rest of the viewers would have no idea about?
They fart frequently.
They're like a big real cavity?
Wow!
do they toot a lot?
Oh my god! I talk about it a lot though.
Yeah, they do announce their fart.
I'm gonna get canceled from Twitch.
I'll hear the siren go off.
Oh my god!
They wake up screaming every morning.
Cool.
They just every morning I'll just be sitting here
doing work.
Just do it.
It's like 10 a.m.
It's like 10 a.m. Yeah, Daisy was out of bed 10:30. I'm like, oh,
wow.
Oh,
Like
I do a bit of morning screaming.
Yeah.
That's true.
I was picturing that that bit on 30 Rock where Tracy's like, no matter how hard I scream, do not wake me up. And he's just like, he's asleep next to Liz going, free me from this! That's Daisy.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. We do a lot of beep bopping. We have I think we have Familect.
Yeah, we have
Familect. What Familect is. It's like the word for the dialect you develop with your roommates or your family or people you're like around a lot, where we beep and boop a lot, I guess is what's happened. And sometimes I screech. I'll admit that. I can take the role of the screecher, but I do sometimes get a call and response from beep boops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we do a beep boop house. Oh.
It's a two-way street.
Well, I don't think I've ever heard you wake up and scream, so that's fair.
That's fair.
That's probably fair.
It sounds like because he's up before you.
Yeah.
That's true, and
I wake up, scream, you're still asleep.
I notoriously can sleep through anything, also. I'm just, like, out, so things happen.
You're screaming through it.
House could be robbed and I wouldn't know.
Everyone's like, whose car alarm is going off? And you're like,
you're a little over a year. Yeah. Oh my God.
We've been living here, about a year, a little over a year. Daisy has started 3 fires?
In the backyard?
No!
Not in the kitchen either!
Not even in the kitchen, just,
not in the kitchen either!
The living room.
My bedroom, maybe. I don't know if you know about that.
What else?
Yeah, it's probably. This is weird stuff.
What
I don't
else
know.
do you
Do
do?
anything? I don't know. Weird stuff. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed enough for this stream.
3. Yeah, Chad is wondering how 3.
A lot of garlic.
Oh my God, I do make
meals.
Okay, listen. No meal is complete without like an entire head of garlic.
I can think of some meals.
Can you? Like ice cream?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sure. I guess it's a meal.
Lunchables.
Lunchables? Yeah. Well, okay, maybe. I don't eat a lot of Lunchables either. I got a question for you.
Oh, wonderful.
So, in addition to being a folk artist and creating lots of artwork online and being an avid video game player, you stream. You did for a while.
I do stream. I still stream. It's less frequent right now. Just
and you stream
work and capitalism and the
and life and
all the things.
Aging and life and connecting with the internet. Yeah,
all that stuff.
You stream as Block Sprites, so everybody follow Block Sprites. But also, in addition, I overheard what I think was maybe your favorite moment that you've ever had streaming on Twitch.
Oh,
but I want you to tell us what your favorite moment as a streamer was for you, or what's a thing that when you think about your experience streaming on Twitch, what was like a highlight for you?
Wow, a highlight. So I think a cool one. Okay, how much time do you have? No.
14 minutes.
14 minutes.
Okay. My favorite video game is a video game. It's called Star Control 2. I don't think it's in camera there.
You can't see it in camera. But you had your guy. You had
this
Well, I have this guy. I have this ship that's from Star Control 2. So a while back, I just... my brother messaged me. Like, totally stumbled onto this fact that some of the people who had worked on Star Control 2... This is a game from 1991. So a long time ago. I knew that they were working on a sequel finally, after all these years. But I heard just kind of through the grapevine, it just happened to be like the 20th, 30th.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, God. Anniversary of this game's release. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Math. And they were doing a whole sort of streaming celebration thing with it. And I popped into it, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and I was watching it, or whatever. I mentioned during the, just in the chat, I was like, oh, hey, I'm going to stream Star Control after this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the stream that was, hundreds of viewers, all sorts of people participating, the creators of the game participating, some people who were working on the sequel participating, all of that. They decided to raid me.
That's so freaking cool.
And it was really cool.
So freaking cool.
I got to to play a little bit of the game with again one of the guys who is like one of the lead programmers on the new the sequel. That was a really cool moment, and that was one of the earlier streams that I did, and it gave me like a cool sort of boost, kind of a kick. Like, oh, this is a real community. There are actual people who are engaged with this and doing stuff, and yeah, it was really cool. That was fun. That's probably my top stream moment.
That was so cool.
You know, you coming into the background and
farting. Not infrequent, probably. Hey, you definitely have come in the back of my stream and have said no, but you've definitely announced things that have happened in our space together. There might be a clip of that. Anybody? But I think that was super cool. I remember you got a chance to like talk to these guys who are like working on your favorite game. I don't know. It's like it would be like I can't imagine what our comparison would be. Well, I guess we have something similar. Like if a cool folklorist that we're like, you're not on Twitch, and they come in like to S. Bronner in chat.
If like Bigfoot popped on.
If Bigfoot came
Indiana Jones popped on to the stream.
Here. Oh my god, Indiana Jones.
I think our version of that would be like
Indiana Jones' folklore.
Hashtag Indiana Jones' folklore.
Yeah.
What would that be? I don't even know.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Like I think like if we got raided, he's not on Twitch anymore. But if we got raided like by Ludwig and we started doing our Ludwig impressions.
That would be really funny. Oh my god.
Daisy, the plan is simple.
That would be pretty good. Okay.
Don't run into the Marines.
Don't run into the Marines. I have some like, I guess on this we have a couple like maybe rapid fire funsy questions.
Oh boy.
If that's cool for you, just like a couple really quick ones.
Your interview has walked the line between both.
Yeah, this interview is sort of like in between both, but some of these could, if you wanted.
I'm the least educated person you have ever had on this show, and I think that's a delight.
I don't think that's true.
I think it might be true.
I don't know if that's true.
We interviewed a high schooler.
I'm the least educated person.
We did?
Wasn't Abraham in high school? I guess he was like 17,
thought he was in college.
Right? No, he was like 17.
No, he was 17. He was like 19. I thought he was in college.
I had to have his mom sign paperwork down. He was like 17. Yeah.
This is why Daisy does the paperwork.
Yeah, he was like.
My mom stopped by and dropped off a cake before this stream.
That's true. Yeah.
That's a true story. Anyway.
Have we interviewed an animal?
I mean, Baby Cat's been on the stream.
Kim Striker's dog.
Kim Striker's dog. We asked a question.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Something like that.
I'm just saying the bar is low.
Well.
Yes.
Speaking of cats, maybe this is a good question.
Oh, wonderful.
What's like a top 1 to 3 moments that you shared with Bastat, your late wonderful cat you had for many years?
One of the top 3 moments.
While we're wearing cat ears, and this could be any moments from any period of time in which you knew her in that form, in her living form.
Yeah. Most of the best moments were in the living form.
One of the best moments was from Ghost Form.
One of them was in Ghost Form. We traveled a lot. I just at that particular point in my life, in my 20s, I had to travel a lot, and this cat and I had to drive a lot of places together. And you know, that's often very distressing for a cat, but I would let her out of her, crate or whatever she was being transported in, and she would just roam around the car. And her favorite place to be while driving, when she wasn't up on the dashboard, was right underneath my feet.
Very safe.
My feet are, busy driving. So she would spend a lot of time down there. But we drove from New York to St. Louis at one point, all sorts of long road trips. But when we would travel, I think this is the only time I ever ate Popeye's chicken, but we would stop at Popeye's chicken.
Oh my god.
And she would eat Popeye's chicken with me. I would
freaking
order
awesome.
a little box,
I love her.
And then I'd give her a couple little
She's
pieces,
so good.
and she'd sit there, and we'd drive, and she'd just eat and go.
Eat little Popeye's chicken.
It was a good time.
She was excited for cross-country Popeye's chicken travel.
Cross-country Popeye's chicken.
How could you not?
How could you not?
Yeah.
Popeye's chicken is my
baby.
favorite fast food.
Oh, yes. Another one.
Yeah.
What?
I was gonna say, do you wanna?
do you want to ask
last
one?
before tier list?
Oh boy.
Okay, then I know what one I'm gonna ask, and it wasn't the
Do
one
it.
I was just gonna do.
Do
All right,
it,
last
do it.
one before this tier list, which is very important that we do get to.
Yeah.
In 1 minute, pitch us your book.
Oh.
Nick is a published author, and Nick has written a very cool book that you can purchase for a very low price on the internet that everybody should read, and it's super cool. Give us your 1 minute
Oh God!
summary of this book.
I wrote this book a long time ago, and one of the things I was never good at with this book was
That's a wow! What a way to
The
start that.
elevator
the
Okay.
elevator pitch,
Great,
which
okay.
is I think a hurdle for
Yeah.
anybody who
It
spends a
is,
whole lot of
totally,
time with something
totally.
that's difficult to distill something.
Yeah.
A soundbite or whatever.
I mean, I would have given you more than 1 minute if I wasn't so bad at Metal Gear.
Perfect. Yeah. Great. I wrote a book. It's about a vampire. Let's see. It's a dual narrative. It follows two different plots that both orbit the same character, just different time periods. It's like a 30-year time span between the two eras. He is a vampire. He's a vampire. The vampires in the story are sort of a rejection of how vampirism is often treated in a lot of young adult or speculative fiction. It is by basically every metric, it is actually a curse. It is unpleasant. It does not really have any positive qualities. It's just a thing that this person has to live with. They are old. They're 74 years old, I think, in the one part of the narrative, and they're a little bit younger in the earlier narrative. And in the one, they're sort of experiencing their life, going through the struggles of dealing with this alone. They are the only vampire they know. The latter section of the story deals with just an event that is unfolded in the present day. But he's an old man. He's 74 years old. He's not 600 like your average vampire in a vampire
regular
story.
guy.
Astronomical time span.
Yeah.
He's just an old man. But he also is sort of staring down this prospect of immortality and all the challenges that are associated with being this very abnormal person.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a dope vampire book that people should check out. Nick, you're currently writing a couple other short things too.
Thanks. Oh my God.
Yeah. I just wanted to give you airtime for your cool writing and because I think it's awesome. And so if that was
I have a comic book.
I know
It's not about
comics.
not about vampires. It's about aliens.
Oh,
that's the other thing. So the comic book is about aliens.
It has multiple. It's more than one singular comic, right? Like it's a series.
Yeah,
it's a series.
This is just,
yeah,
one issue of it.
Yeah.
So it's about aliens. It's about imagine it's basically present day, near future maybe, and you have call it an extreme. Imagine that Donald Trump's back in office for some reason, and
Okay.
then imagine that George Sears is in office, and while George Sears, Donald Trump is in office, aliens show up.
Oh my God.
How might we, as a society, poorly handle that? How might our leadership,
How can we do
might
that the
our
worst way?
capitalist overlords and the oligarchy and all the other systems and people and things that are content to, destroy and consume the earth, how might they react to this sudden sort of unexpected X factor called aliens?
Hell
that's
yeah.
what that's about. Lots of writing, lots of speculative fiction.
Well, the links are in the chat to find your website, to find the Amazon link to just buy the book directly if you want to do it from there. But yeah, lots of folklore stuff. You're a folk artist, you're creative in so many different mediums. I think it's really cool. Yeah, you didn't even know. I mean, that's how a lot of people end up like that. So
that's honestly cool. In my job as a public folklorist, a lot of people are like that. Like, wow, this is just the thing I was doing because there was a need in my community. I didn't know I was keeping a tradition alive. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
All right. We have a game to play.
Wow.
And I think the link I have is slightly weird, but I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah, you can. Is there a reset button?
Is it Metal Gear?
Kind of.
I'll send you. I'll send you a new one, Daisy.
Yeah, send me the other one real quick.
Oh no, you would press go to template, right? No, you don't. Yeah, go to template, then hit reset. You see what I'm talking about?
I see what you're talking about. Perfect. Yep. Got it. Okay.
Hey, Nick, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Have you ever made a tier list?
I must have.
You must have.
Surely I must have.
Surely.
I've used the internet.
Exactly, because
I've ranked things.
Because even though tier lists come from fighting games, on the internet they get used to rank everyday things, as Nick pointed out, which is why we like using them on this show. But however,
wonderful.
We're having you rank a specific thing. You're ranking the Metal Gears.
You're not.
By what criteria?
That. Okay, if you go on Discord and you click watch stream if you have not already, you have the Metal Gears, and it is entirely on your metric. So this should be shared screen to you via Discord.
Oh, gosh.
It should work there.
Sure.
And...
I just see all of us.
Oh.
Hang on.
Hold on. Wait, do you see us now? Is it different?
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
There you go. I know how to I've used the internet.
You've used Discord before.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
As you may know, S is well, of course you know you're a RPG guy.
I do, yeah.
As the audience may know, S tier above
tier.
100
yes.
is failing.
I'm gonna
S tier. Wow. Okay. So S A B C D E F. There's more Metal Gears than that.
That's true.
Am I just rating the top 6?
No.
They go horizontal and
horizontal
vertical.
and vertical.
The top left corner of S tier is the top of S tier. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, get it? We can double layer them, and genuinely, you get to decide what the metric is.
Wow.
If you want one at all.
If I want a metric.
The metric could be your favorites. It could just be who the sexiest,
iconic,
most iconic, most memeable.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
This one I think is based. I mean, by it saying Metal Gear Solid games, I mean maybe gameplay is a part of it, maybe not.
Yeah.
Depends how you want to do it. You know.
Alright, I'm picking up.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you here.
Alright. Can you see?
Okay. Metal Gear.
We can either go chronologically or however you want.
Okay.
Yeah, you might have to help me with some of the box art. I assume this one is Metal Gear.
Yeah, right. Well, that's
Metal Gear Solid.
That's Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid is let's call it S tier right now because Metal Gear Solid came out in 98, 99. Okay. And it was one of the first like Final Fantasy VII, one of the first like PlayStation games that like I was like, oh shit, video games are changing. Like this is it. Very, very exciting. I played that demo on it. That was on a demo just too. I don't, Dom, if you remember.
I don't remember. I remember playing the game, but I was not cognizant of the demo.
It was a demo on something. Yeah, and it was just, oh my god, that old stupid weird NES game that no one remembers. And it was so cool. Yeah.
Hey,
no.
We've got the old stupid weird NES game.
I know,
that's
the old
true.
stupid weird NES game is on here somewhere. So.
That's the very right. It's all the way to the right.
Yeah, where do you...
then there's Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake. Okay, so also S tier. Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
which one
the
is...
orange one in the middle.
Okay.
Orange one in the middle.
Yeah,
Above or below?
Oh,
Metal Gear Solid.
That's hard.
Okay.
You know.
It's
You can return to it if you want.
I'm sure.
Also.
Yeah. No. Metal Gear Solid 3 is probably to the left. It probably surpasses even Metal Gear.
Yeah.
It's a top 5 game for me. It's a top 5.
It's phenomenal. Totally bonkers.
That's awesome.
from the moment you begin to the moment you I'm one of the this is actually very difficult because there's so many emotions wrapped up in Metal Gear. It's like for 10 years, like you were saying earlier, Dom, about Metal Gear Solid 2. For many years, Metal Gear Solid 2 would have hung out in like B territory for me.
Yeah.
But then everything that it said was going to happen in the world happened.
Happened the way it described
it. Oh,
no! And I was like, oh, shit. Like, you were right.
Oh, no.
And suddenly, I was like, oh, this game called it. Let's pop it.
Yeah, I remember watching a documentary about the Cambridge Analytica scandal, and then I paused it in the middle of that.
And you went, the lolly lully low.
Solid 2?
The lolly lully low. How's that possible?
Yeah, damn. Also, who's your favorite football team? And is it the New England Lolly Lully Low?
All right, what do you think?
Let's say A. Let's say A on 2. And we'll revisit.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know for
That's
sure.
a tough one. Yeah.
All right. What's the overall? So, Metal Gear Solid Snake, Metal Gear 2.
Okay.
It's hard to tier list this because it's a product of its era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play it now. Like it was clunky. They weren't great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Dom. I don't know how you feel about this, but they weren't. It wasn't a great game. There's no two ways about it. It wasn't a ton. Like I never loved it. Let's pop that and see for a minute.
Okay.
We'll revisit.
Okay.
And what about Metal Gear 1, all the way to the right?
Metal Gear 1. It's kind of the same.
This is not.
No, that's
all the way to the right.
All the way to the right. That guy.
Oh, okay.
That guy with. Who is that on the cover?
It's him and a gun, I think.
Okay, no, Kyle Reese from the Terminator.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I like it. Pop it in D.
Whoa!
Just for right now.
Okay.
We'll see how we're... Metal Gear Survive. Do you have anything lower than F?
We can make it lower than F. Oh my god!
Just
you can make the world's first G or a Z or something.
Or like a shit emoji. Okay. Like, can you put?
Can I? Okay, add a row below.
Okay.
Change. Yeah, and then but also no, don't change the color there.
Oh,
close
okay.
it.
Okay, and then do it here.
Yeah, do it here.
What's like?
Black.
Yeah. They don't have poop
gray.
color
Let's do gray. And let's call it. Oh God. Can't I do? I don't know if I can do it. I mean, you can just vote for the emojis up there, but I could do like.
It's fine. Call it.
No, I know what we'll call it.
Metal Gear Survive.
Fart. We're gonna call it Fart.
Perfect.
To honor our family.
To honor our family.
Okay, which one?
Our family.
This
Metal
one?
Gear Survive, which was built off of the Phantom Pain, the Fox engine, post Koji. It's lore that you don't care about, but
the people might care about.
Yeah, it's no good.
No good.
It's what? Not an MMO. I mean MMO. It's
an arena shooter.
Arena, thank you. Yes,
oh,
arena shooter.
That's weird.
Based on the Fox engine, which was the engine that they developed for Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain.
Seems weird.
It was implemented after Kojima left, and very obviously a cash grab, just using the Metal Gear IP.
Yeah. Yikes.
To whatever.
Which you could argue the new game is a cash grab. Using the Metal Gear IP, but at least it's a remake of the most beloved game and not an arena shooter. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, at least it's something people asked for.
Right. I wanted this. Yeah. I noticed you don't have the the GameCube Twin Snakes remake.
Twin Snakes is not on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a whole different way to play original Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2.
I could put it on here as a label on OBS for the interview, like when it clips out to YouTube. I could do that if you want me to place it somewhere.
That's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
It would probably tier. Well, no, it would actually tier much lower than original Metal Gear. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, they re-recorded all the voices for some reason, and it was like they nailed the voice acting in the first.
Yeah, it's
Metal
like, why
Gear
would
Solid.
you?
Yeah, I saw.
It was just weird.
Like
it was
panel...
it was like Uncanny Valley, like just.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Nick, I saw a panel with the voice cast, and the guy who played Colonel Campbell said he got like a call back in like '97, like, hey, the casting director for a video game wants you to audition, and he goes, that's a sentence no one has told me before. And they're like, yeah, no one's ever done voice acting like this game is going to do voice acting. Get ready.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. There's a lot of great content out there about the experience of recording the dialogue, because it's hundreds. I'm exaggerating.
And it's like dense and impenetrable.
Yeah. And it's incredible. It's all.
It's the most jargony spy thriller ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, what do we got? Ground Zeroes.
Zeroes.
That was a delight. I love.
First one on the left. Yep.
I love playing Ground Zeroes.
Next one you're playing, Daisy.
Okay.
You should play it. You should play it with your partner.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Oh my god!
As someone who's in the military,
yeah,
blast.
Yeah.
It's
okay, Daisy,
and as somebody we have also called Snake before.
It's basically
this game starts with Big Boss infiltrating
basically Guantanamo Bay.
To rescue Sandinistas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wild.
Big Boss is the reason Iran-Contra happened, by the way.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pop it on A.
Okay.
It
Hell yeah. I respect that.
Yeah, I loved Ground Zeroes, and it did what it was supposed to do. It made me excited for Phantom Pain.
It would be S tier if it costs less money.
Yeah, because it's like 10 minutes of content.
Oh my god.
40 if you do it right.
40 if you do it right. What is this? Is this Peace Walker? What is this?
That is Portable Ops.
This is Portable Ops. Portable Ops. Portable Ops has its place. Portable Ops has a surprisingly good soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
For what it is, but I wouldn't throw it in line with sort of the mainline Metal Gears. Pop it into B.
Okay.
I like Portable Ops. I don't know if it's fair to say that it's better than. Yeah, whatever. We're fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that Rising?
That's Rising.
Next, that's Rising. Oh god.
Now, Daisy, for context, Rising is not made by the people who made all these other games. It's made by the Bayonetta people.
So I really won't understand it. Okay. Okay.
Made by the Bayonetta people.
Okay.
The primary antagonist is a U.S. senator.
Whose catchphrase is "Make America Great Again," and this game came out in what, 2013?
Are you serious? Oh my
god!
Yeah. Oh man, it's so bad.
Like Nick and I were saying, everything in these games came true.
Yeah.
Weird. It's
really
one of
weird.
those things where I didn't like Rising when it came out, but after the fact, it's sort of like
oh.
Huh.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't love the gameplay.
The gameplay is
it's messy.
Everything depends on parrying. They
Oh my
made parrying
God.
so fucking hard.
Yeah, I don't know. Pop C.
Okay.
Pop it in there. Pop it.
Top of C or bottom of C?
Above or below?
Top of C, just because of and his name has been totally escaping me the whole stream. I'm trying to remember the senator. What's his name?
We'll look it up real quick.
Fucking Buck Johnson. What's his name?
It's something so generic.
It better be.
It doesn't matter.
Steve Armstrong.
Armstrong, Senator Armstrong.
That's a totally
you.
normal. Yeah,
Senator
it's a very.
Steve Armstrong.
What a normal
Fantastic.
senator name.
Daisy, can I tell you my favorite Steve Armstrong
his,
moment?
His whole speech at the fight scene at the end is phenomenal and makes up for all the other sins of that game.
That's awesome.
Daisy, he says like what does he say? It's like still got my old man strength from playing ball in college, and the hero goes, bet you played for some junior college, and then he like punches him across the battlefield and goes, University of Texas at Austin.
Oh my god! That's.
It's amazing.
I guess I couldn't name a more American university.
I know.
Suppose. Like they had to name drop one of them. I guess let it be the Texan. That's awesome.
Metal Gear 4, which is the next one.
Mm-hmm.
4, yeah.
Metal Gear 4. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not. I loved this stupid game.
Chat already made fun of it.
Yeah.
You could not play a Metal Gear game without chat making fun of 4.
I love this stupid game. It's the most unnecessary video game I think that was ever made. It does what the Star Wars prequels did. Like, it tries to fill in all
it's
this
like trying to fill in the gap.
Need.
Yeah.
And every single second of that game is like a juicy fan service morsel. It's like everything ever wanted spoon-fed.
You're like,
you.
wow, they actually did do
and
it.
You're just like,
wow,
by the end of it, you're just sick to your stomach because you got everything you ever want. And you're just like,
it feels a lot like The Rise of Skywalker, but if it was like 100 hours long and
oh my god,
developed all of the plot points.
Everything. And you're like, I like this, but it's killing me.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The gameplay was good. I don't know. I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. It's stupid. It followed the reverse of sort of all the other Metal Gears, where you look back on it and it makes more sense.
Yeah.
This, you look back on it and you're like, what the hell did I
will say there's one thing that makes more sense when you go back to this game. How it is like
Johnny and Meryl winding up together.
Johnny never shitting his pants. No, that it's like an episodic. The episodic structure of it, where it's like you have a 20-minute cutscene, then you play for an hour, and then get a 20-minute cutscene, and then it goes like episode 2.
You play for 20 minutes and it's an hour cutscene, but
play for 20 minutes, hour cutscene. Regardless, it's like binging a Netflix show.
Oh my god.
It is.
That's
it is the
cool.
video game equivalent of a Netflix binge.
So that's what
it's an incredible
that's
experience.
what Triptylon was referring to. Okay.
Yeah.
That's important. It's a unique video game experience. I will absolutely.
Unique,
I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. Would I rank it better than 2 and Ground Zeroes? It's hard to call it S tier. Let's put it at the front of A.
Top A. Okay.
Front of A over 2.
Yeah, and
I will say this more
that's
Metal Gear
hard.
predicting the future. This game is like about the Syrian civil war, and it came out in 2008.
Weird. This is very weird. Yeah.
It sounded
uncanny.
I hate how they keep getting it right.
Yeah. Damn. Uncanny.
This is Peace Walker, right?
This is Peace Walker.
Yeah, this is Peace Walker. Peace Walker is phenomenal.
You ready for a hot take?
Did you not like Peace Walker?
Peace Walker might have the best story of all the Metal Gear games.
That's not. It's a hot take, but it's not the wrong take.
Okay, good.
Peace Walker is phenomenal.
Peace Walker's just like Metal Gear for weebs, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, it is. Peace Walker is.
Daisy, this is the game about Big Boss training the Sandinistas.
Oh, okay.
Peace Walker's got to go in S.
Okay.
The reason I think the reason I'm hesitating is simply because of the PSP.
Oh.
And if I hadn't had to play that game on the friggin' PSP, and if I'd gotten to play it on a real system when it first came out, I would probably feel differently. But which I think it's been released for the PS4. I think you can play it on console now.
Yeah.
I think you can play it on 4.
4, yeah. Which I haven't done yet. So and maybe I would feel differently about it. But I love it all the same.
Now, is it at the bottom? Daisy put it at the bottom of S.
Is it at the bottom of S?
3 and 1?
I think so. I think this
Okay.
is I think that's where I'm gonna.
Now we've been putting this off.
We've been putting this off because this is
the real controversial one.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I had
And
no
by the way,
idea
Daisy-
there was this much controversy amongst the games.
And do you call this one 5 or V?
I call it 5.
Okay, because I know people who are like it is called Metal Gear Solid V.
Oh wow, damn. Edgy.
Yeah. Phantom Pain. Yeah, what a polarizing title.
What a
Wow.
wait, Daisy. Scroll up. Never mind. Go back down.
So
I don't have ad block, and I just got an ad for the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. Anyway.
Oh my god.
So Metal Gear Solid 2, the one you were playing,
Yes.
it bamboozled everybody because the sequence that you just played, you're playing as Solid Snake, but for the rest of the game, you play as a character that you have never encountered before in Metal Gear named Raiden.
Okay.
It totally just blindsides you with.
Yeah, you're just all of a sudden you're just this guy. Okay.
To the point where the trailers for the game inserted Snake into Raiden scenes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
like,
weird.
Totally,
okay, just like completely fake out. Like every player is like experiencing like a deep shock from the. Okay, yeah.
And the
That's
next
cool.
level is the tanker all over again, but it's Raiden like having like VR training as Snake. It's like it totally is messing with your brain.
Yeah,
for a
weird.
while.
Okay, weird.
The whole game is
yeah.
total just kind of a mind fuck in that regard. And after there was such a long period, at least it was a long period between Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2. People were super excited to see because Metal Gear Solid ends not with a cliffhanger, but
ends with an open door.
you want to know what's happening with Snake.
Yeah, you're like,
what's
going on?
yeah.
You get Metal Gear Solid 2 finally, you see the trailers and everything, you're like, and then you play that tanker sequence, you're like, I'm Snake.
Yeah, you're like, this is cool, I'm Snake's
back. And then it dumps
back,
you into a totally different game with a totally different protagonist.
Weird.
You do not play as Snake again for the rest of that game.
That's so cool.
And it was jarring.
Yeah.
And no one ever thought that Kojima was going to pull that on you again.
Yeah.
And then
he did!
Metal Gear 5
oh my god.
comes around and does the same thing, but in a totally different, much more...
sounds worse.
It's clever. Nuanced, clever. It's very, very... it's something.
Okay.
It is also completely unfinished.
Okay.
Suffered from Kojima leaving, not against his own will, I think.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they had to put it out by the end of like the whatever fiscal term to for the shareholders or something.
There were
so
all
it wouldn't look
sorts of unfortunate money-based forces at work.
Yes.
To
the point where there is, by the end of this 11-game tier list you're looking at, there is one hole in the timeline that is obviously supposed to be the last level of 5 that we just don't see.
Damn.
There's only one piece we don't have eyes on in this whole Cold War saga, and it's obvious. And there is also one.
Yeah.
There Acts 1 and 2 of 5 end with like a hand-to-hand combat fight.
Yeah.
And Act 3 does not. And also there is one part of the story we do not have eyes on, and it has to be that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep. Yikes.
It's excruciating.
Yikes. It's very frustrating.
It's a fun game. I love playing. Playing.
Yeah, as opposed to what you're saying about Rising, the gameplay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's cool.
Amazing. There's so much you can do with it.
It's like people talk about open world games, and I'm like, I would rather have my open world games like 5.
Like Metal Gear Solid 5, yeah.
Like Metal Gear Solid 5. Where like it's not an open world. It's a bubble, but you have a puzzle with 300 solutions. That's what I want open world to be.
It's amazing, and the potential that you see in that game, like the vastness, the what could be. Even the menus are like unfinished, where it's like Area 1, Area 2. Obvious space for Area 3.
Oh my god, yikes.
30.
And they just like didn't have it.
And there's just nothing there. And you're just like,
that's bad. That's bad.
So I loved playing it. all the different things you can unlock, the customizability of building your own army,
Yeah.
and
That's
all
cool.
the stuff.
First time I painted my Jeep pink camouflage.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Thinking it was a
it's
joke,
cool.
and then I became impossible to shoot in a sunset.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
You know all the FOBs.
Yeah.
The nuclear competition thing. The weird way that the interesting way that I don't think any other video game has handled the idea of nuclear disarmament and all of that. Like all of that is just amazing.
This is perhaps of all the games the one that is like harshest on the United States military. Right?
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They're actually kind of the bad guys in this one. Like it's unclear in the rest of them. Yeah,
but this one
is
is like for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the Russians are the bad guys too. It's
they're all bad, but
that,
there's no. It's more clear.
Yeah. And then as a Metal Gear game, and it there's a gaping hole, you know, like it's just the Metal Gear is cool in it. Sahelanthropus is a super cool Metal Gear design.
Yeah.
But it's just not quite there.
I have to tell I often have to tell myself that like fan film that came out afterward that like connects the dots is not a part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Right. Yeah.
It's so good and it's so almost there. Anyway, all of that is to say, that's too harsh. I would say let's put it in A. Maybe B.
Top of B,
But
bottom
above
A.
portable ops.
Top of B. Yeah, for your description of why you love Ground Zero, saying for what it is, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Makes sense that that 5 is right below it.
Yeah.
Because for what it is, it has a couple huge problems.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And it's such an amazing
It comes
game.
so close to being perfect.
It's like the whole way, because you play it,
and it's like not like his fault. It's the studio's fault.
Right.
It's literally,
right.
yeah. The thing is, I guess here's what works for it with me. Playing it through the first time, I didn't know that it was going to disappoint me, and so I'm playing through it, and I'm like, this is incredible. When's the payoff? I've played Metal Gear.
Right,
I know
right,
they're just dangling. They're gonna bamboozle me. They're gonna get me. They're gonna get me. They're gonna go.
Nothing.
The fuck?
Yeah.
The game's up? What?
Does it?
But it's like they get you. But it's like they get you.
They got me.
Like,
They got me like a little. Yeah. Like,
Is that it? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you got me, but like you don't get me at the last level. You get me, and then I have one last.
And then
fight,
I have
right?
you get me.
Game's
and
over?
Then something like I'm just yeah.
Yeah,
So
that makes
the
sense.
fact that I played it all the way through and the whole way I was amped, I was ready, I was like, this is Metal Gear, it's gonna get me.
Mhm.
That experience, I don't think I could replicate playing it again because now I'd be like, okay.
You know what's coming, and you already know it's going to be like unsatisfactory to some degree. Yeah.
But it was incredibly fun to play through the first time, certainly. And, I haven't played it recently, but I definitely for a few years after would. Like pandemic era, just like I'm gonna go play some Metal Gear. I'm gonna just run around Africa for a little bit and gather some lavender or whatever the hell.
Yeah, the gathering lavender.
I'm gonna gather lavender so I can make a better gun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or whatever it is.
Damn.
Sounds like Metal Gear Solid 5.
It's Metal Gear Solid 5.
It also sounds like we have an official Metal Gear Solid tier list from Nicholai Bird-Conliff, Block Sprites. Here it is. We've been talking about Metal Gear for so long. I'm glad that we got to have this experience together, playing Metal Gear, getting you two to mansplain bullets to me. That was cool. No,
learn what bullets are.
Very good. I don't know if...
Can I tie it together?
I was going to say, I don't think I'm the one that has to tie this together. It might be Dom or Nick. Yeah.
Well, it's on a scale from S to fart.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, but there is something that is truly makes 3 and survive opposites on a scale from S to fart. How much are you forced to kill people?
Ooh, interesting.
Best part about 3, you can get through 3 without taking a single life.
You can get through
That's
3
pretty
without
cool.
taking a single life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the first time. So, Daisy mentioned that their strength is not stealth.
No.
And certainly when I first played these games when I was, 12.
Yeah.
Stealth was not my, preferred
I am
method
also
of
12.
getting through, getting through any particular space. So I used a lot of bullets.
Yeah, it's also not how games tend to treat choices.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you're
it's
playing
unique.
like a platformer or
And
something.
there's a whole, we could talk all about Metal Gear and its anti-war
Sure.
sentiments and how that wraps up into the whole fact that you
and
have choices about whether or not you're going to murder human beings in the plot in the course of your actions. But and that's a huge part of 5 and 4 and 3 and 2.
Yeah.
4 and 3 and 2 and
literally all of them, actually, now that I think of it, except 1. Or Metal Gear Solid.
Except 1.
Yeah, probably
Fart.
true. Definitely not Rising.
Yeah.
Definitely not Rising.
The point is cutting things in half.
Raiden couldn't give a shit, Raiden's fine. This is a snake phenomenon.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, in 3, you have the ability to go through that whole game without taking a single life.
Well, Nick, I'm going to put...
And I didn't realize that the first time going through.
Oh.
And so there's a certain point where the lives that you have taken
impact you.
An adversary to you.
Right, and then you kind of like have to play backwards.
And it was very challenging for me.
That would be, which is the whole point,
You're wading through like the river of the dead and every down to
every
animal
person
that you've shot.
everybody died.
And when my brother who played it stealthily, he's like, I just walked through, and I'm like, there's so many
There's
guys.
A lot happening.
Helicopter pilots, like anybody. Anyway.
That's cool. Well, Nick, I'm going to put you back on screen to say, hey, you're a great roommate. Thank you for coming on this show. You're a great fucking folk artist. You're a great gamer. And I learned a lot from you, both living with you, but also from our conversations about folklore and life and games and stuff. So thanks for coming on the show. I'm glad we could finally talk about Metal Gear, like, officially, like, for real, like, on the stream. And I think it's freaking cool. So... thank you, and we're gonna end the show. Bye, everyone. Dom, do you want to come back on screen, wave a little, say bye?
Hi. Next week we're playing Among Us with Thomas Grant Richardson.
Among Us.
The sequel to last year's AFS stream and the preview to this year's AFS.
It's gonna be super fun. We're gonna have a group game, so if you all want to play, let us know.
Hit us up if you want to play Among Us.
Hit us up. It should be super, super fun. And we'll, I don't know, everybody have a good night. See you next week.
Have a special emotional. Quotes have had me on many levels. Making quotes helped me to get a sense of my own space. Sense of finding my way. Sense of really working my way out of the labyrinth.